Hey everybody, welcome to this edition of the ActionCAST. I'm Clint Nobles, operational methodologist, and here on the ActionCAST, we bring you actionable information that you can take and change your business with starting today. And today's show, man, you got to hang for this. This is going to be incredible because we're talking all about marketing. And everybody loves marketing, and you can't talk about marketing without talking to the guru himself, Mr. Dan McGuire, Director of Sales and Marketing for Right at Home. Dan, thank you so much for being with us today.
Wow, thank you. I appreciate being on. I've watched and I've learned and I've collaborated with so many of these industry professionals, and it's a privilege to be with you guys today. And I'm happy to share my insights and some of my past 8 years of experience from the ground up, man. And the things that I've learned along the way has just been dynamite. And it's just great with times like these to have the technology to be able to share, and to meet obviously wonderful people like you. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh man, I'm so excited about today's show because obviously you and I have been talking pre-show just about kind of the different things we're going to cover. And I can tell you right now, you want to watch this show. If you have a marketer, get them on right now. And I mean, obviously, as always, this is a live show, so make sure and go to StreamYard.com/Facebook so we can see who you are when you comment, just like Referral. Hey there, Jeffrey. Good to see you.
Welcome in.
Wonderful to see everybody out there. Make sure as you go through this that you're putting this in perspective. Now, we talk about actionable information, and I say that all the time, and I guess you could call it a catchphrase. But the truth is, when you're watching this show, and this one most especially because we're dealing with how to grow your agency and really get results, put this in perspective of what you're at right now. And asking questions is one of the best ways to do that. How is what we're talking about relating to you right now? So, Dan, you talk about having 8 years of experience, and you sell yourself short because you told me that you started as a kid, like pulling a wagon around selling fruit and all this in your area, right? So you have always understood how to connect and deliver what people need. And that's the core of it. That's the core of marketing right there.
No, it is. You definitely have to have the right person in your business, who has that influential persona, if you will. But you're right. Selling myself short a bit. Started at a young age, and then all the way through. You working part-time at Best Buy and Home Depot, and the manager from Home Depot recruited me for Best Buy because I was more of a salesperson, not somebody who can take you to a light switch. So I got to really dig into different sales atmospheres, but navigating the waters that is home care and our healthcare system, it's a little bit more unique, but somebody who has a little bit more of a presentation in sales to them can really, really stand out if done the right way.
And when it comes to marketing, this is something that a lot of owners are uncomfortable with. And a lot of times people ask, they'll ask me like, when do I get a marketer in my business? When do I get a marketer in my business? And marketers are wonderful, but how I always coach people, and when I coach, preach, and teach, is that unless you have done it yourself and you understand how to actually market your business, at the point you have done it and can successfully say that you are marketing your business, you don't need to bring someone in because you don't know how to direct them, where to take them, what your actual business is. Now, I know you work with Right at Home. Y'all are out in California, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so you're in California, so there's a whole lot of things that you have to deal with as far as restrictions, different things that apply to y'all. So marketing out there, that's a mindset, right? And it's not just about putting an ad up and saying, "Hey, this is what we do, this is the services we offer." You go a little deeper than that.
We have to, as competitive as it is out here with the pricing and costs out here in Southern California, no less. it starts, and I know we're going to get into it. It starts with your culture. It starts with your brand. And that has to be synergized, as a word I like to use, across the board from the very beginning when you start your business. If you've if you've had a business that is already up and going and you fell into that, and that brand is a little shaky and it's a little confusing and the perception of those brands aren't right, you really got to work to get that on point, because nothing else matters if that specific piece isn't synergized.
Yeah, and you bring up such a good point, and it leads us into, you can tell you're really good at this. So it leads us into our first real question, and it is, what is the difference between marketing your agency and creating a brand identity? And then which one should an agency owner make a priority?
That is a question that has to be at the forefront when you start your business or you're working in your business. And the answer, Clint, is extremely simple. Your brand identity is at the utmost core of your business and is the most important. I like to say brand isn't something that you opt into. It's not something that you have to, is a tangible piece of your business. Brand is essentially your belief system. Okay. Brand is your belief system. I'm going to say it again. Brand is your belief system. It's your religion to your business. Mm-hmm. Okay. If you don't have that, you can't preach anything. And preaching is the marketing. That's how that works. That's how that works. If you have a belief system and everybody in your staff and in your organization truly believes in that system, then your brand is self-sustaining. There's no confusion. The perception's always there. And now you have the marketing or the preaching aspect to go out and just shoot for the moon on what you're preaching. And that's your marketing. And there's many different ways to do that as well.
Yeah, brand is your belief system. Mm-hmm. Like I love that. I love that statement. Like, it's so true. And when it comes to understanding the importance of brand identity and all of that, those are terms that we're hearing a lot because we're in a very influenced culture. So we understand, the importance of people's perception of us, what they think of us. But now let's turn this around, because a lot of times we think, when we say, what should an owner focus on? The first people that come to mind is startups. Those people that don't have it, all their plans laid out, they don't have it. And of course, you and I both know that once you're in the business, everything's according to plan. You have it all mapped out, right? That's not reality. But the truth is, when we think of people starting up, we're like, oh, well, what do they need to focus on? Well, let's turn this a little bit and do a little self-reflecting here, because when we talk about what should we make a priority, our marketing or our branding, and we have an existing agency that maybe that branding, that image isn't what we want it to be, what do we focus on then? What is our priority then?
Your priority when it comes to your brand, and if you have something that's perceived that you're maybe struggling with, you have to go out and ensure that whether it's your conversation pieces, your logos, your collaterals, your language, your phone system, how your etiquette is on the phone. You can't just have 2 or 3 pieces that, okay, like for example, we're right at home. You can see the blue, you can see the orange, you can see, our aura of brand, if you will. If things aren't lined up, you just got to stop and check yourself and get those things on point. But most importantly, you have to have the people recognize in your organization they have to have the same foundation to themselves. Mm-hmm. And if you're struggling with that, you just gotta hit the halt button. You gotta pause and go, okay, let's figure this out. Let's have a focus on whatever specifically might not be in line with what you're trying to present. Fix that, because if you don't, you're always going to sell or present something that is inconsistent to the perceptions of others. It's always going to be inconsistent, and it's just bad for business.
Man, like there's so many things in there I want to talk about. I know we have, it's a tight show today. We're, both
Sure.
you and I were born with like 10,000 extra words. So we're trying to rein it in here, but you talk
Yeah.
on understanding your phone etiquette is part of your branding. Good God, please.
Yeah.
Everybody out there hearing this, please understand when they're answering their phone, that's not just a lead coming
Mhm.
in. That's an opportunity to set the stage for what your business
It
is.
is the first point of contact
Right.
99% of the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we lose it so often, right? Oh
Oh,
my gosh, it's crazy. But anyway, we have to advance. We have to
sure.
go on.
Yeah, let's go.
All right, so the next thing is, what are two ways that agency owners and operators can grow their brand's reach beyond just the home care industry? And if y'all are joining us just now, because we're having a lot of people coming on, we're with Dan McGuire, Director of Sales and Marketing for Right at Home. And today we're talking about how to market your agency and get results. So this is something that really you talk about quite a bit. You've mentioned it to me several times in our discussions and all of that. Is understanding that it's a big world out there, right? There's more than just home care or home health care. There's places we can go. So touch on this a little bit. What are two ways that agency owners and operators can grow their brand's reach beyond just the home care industry?
Gosh, you're limiting me to two, and I have about 47. You know, I'm going to start it. I'm going to start it with this. If you're a marketer and you're going out there and you're trying to build business with referral sources, and you're not Dan McGuire, you're not Clinton Nobles, and you don't have a perception already in place, the number one thing that you can do, and I'm going to let this digest, the number one thing you can do is you need to create a preferred partnership group. Okay. And you don't have to be in business a long time to do this. This is the mistake people make. They think, well, since I'm new to the industry, I can't create this group of preferred power partners. Hurricane Marketing, just a little plug there.
Yeah.
Thank you, Steve Weiss. A preferred marketing group, what you do is you create a group specific to educating your community. So you take 10, 15, or 20 power partners. Okay. If I'm a cookie salesman, my power partner is a guy who sells the milk. That's what a power partner is. So in our industry, you want to align with somebody like that. Now, outside of our industry, and this is the greatest thing I did, and I did this about five and a half years ago. I brought partnerships from outside of healthcare. It was the best thing that I can do. And here is how and why. How? They all want the same thing you want. They want to get in front of more people. They want to get in front of other industries as well. And what you're going to do is provide a platform for them to do that. And if you start with education, create a group, go present at different facilities. You can go anywhere. You can go to restaurants, coffee, assisted living facilities, different communities, and present Q&As for residents and their families. It's just a surefire way to get in front of people. But here's the kicker. Those power partners, this is where we fail. We don't utilize their avenues of advertising for our benefit. And a big piece of that is their website, their web presence. One of the things that I started doing was putting restaurants that we go to in our specific targeted community on our website. So we say, hey, at Right at Home, I got a place for you to go grab something to eat. And guess what? They go to their website and it says, if you need care, here's Right at Home. And it happens without me having to drive anywhere. It just makes sense. And we just learned, and Clint knows this, that word of mouth advertising is massive. And we're leaving so many opportunities on the table. So number one is the preferred partnership group. Okay. Because that's going to allow you to share budget dollars. You can split all the advertising costs up. You don't do it for referral fees or anything like that. You do it for a win-win of education and getting yourself made aware. And guess what? Now people gravitate towards you. You become the ones they want to talk to, as opposed to you going out there with all your negative energy going, hi, I'm Dan with Right at Home, and you start vomiting all your services on them. And there's 47 other caregiving companies out there right next to you. Well, that's not going to work. So that's number one. Clint, number two. And starting out, or if you've been in the business a long time, you need to create an event that brings people together to you. And I'll tell you, and I'll share you, the number one thing that I did was I hosted a private party, a luau. This is what we did. We did a luau to end Alzheimer's. I partnered with my Alzheimer's associate out here for the walk, and I did a private fundraiser. It cost me, get this, it cost me $600 to bring over 350 people, fully catered, live music, advertisements, a showcase to raise, I think we raised about, $18,000 for the Alzheimer's Association. It cost me $600.
Yeah.
It's because I aligned with my preferred partnership group. I aligned with my Chamber of Commerce's in my community, because here's what we always forget. The people in our community that are in business, they just want the same things we want. So it's the strength in number. It's the power of people. And if you're constantly trying to navigate the waters on a one-on-one type of approach, you're going to get burnt out. You're going to get crushed. And you're going to be like, why isn't this working? The demand is there. How come we're not getting business? It's because you are not using compound interest. You are not using volume. And that, I'm telling you guys right now, it starts with creating a group and then going out to your community with said group and capturing people. And a quick example, I know we got not a lot of time. We do a pay it forward at our local Starbucks, believe it or not. Hopefully you don't get in trouble for saying Starbucks. But I go out there, I throw $100 and get a gift card. And then I take raffle tickets and I give everybody $2 off their coffee, just as a thank you for being a part of my community. That is a nugget. You guys can take that, and you are going to get in front of people that you would never, ever get in touch with in your community that are probably a senior population, because they're going to Starbucks in the morning, reading their paper. Yes, they still read the paper, and you're giving them free coffee.
Yeah.
It's silly easy.
And no, not get in trouble for it. Heck, give the location and then message them and say, hey, I mentioned you in this video. Share it on your site, right? That's what you're
Upland
talking
Colony's Starbucks.
right? But that's what you're talking about. Use moments that you can really build what Jess and I call collaborative marketing. We've coined it collaborative marketing, because that's what it is. We can't go out there and do this all on our own. We're not salmon, right? Swimming upstream all by ourselves. No, you figure out how to make that stream work for you and power you. I love it, man. I love it. All right, so if you're just joining us, we're with Dan McGuire today, Director of Sales and Marketing for Right at Home. And good Lord, if you are just joining us, make sure when this is over that you favorite this page, because you need to go back and watch the first 15 minutes of the show, because there's been some real great information delivered out here. So the next thing up on the plate is, and I was talking to you, this is something that's really dear to my heart here, and that is, how can we streamline something that feels like we are constantly reacting? And of course here, we're talking about how to market your agency and get results. Marketing across the board, everybody talks about planning out your marketing, understanding, and they understand this kind of grand scope of marketing, but it's okay if nothing goes according to plan, right? They're looking at results. And if results are happening, well, that's fine. It doesn't really matter how you get there, but it does. And if the results are coming in, but you're expending more time, energy, and effort to get them, then it's not as profitable, because profit doesn't just mean monetarily, right? There's profitability built into the time. Is it profitable for me to put my time into this? So let me ask you, as someone who has really dedicated their career to understanding how to become efficient in marketing, because especially in a market like yours in California, where you have a lot of, just like everybody else, right? Everybody has a lot of competition. You also have the kind of the legal aspect that you're dealing with. You have to understand how to really zero in, because we talk about that 80/20 rule. 80% of your results comes from 20% of your effort. So zeroing in on those things that really help you grow and develop is really where the success and results are. So let me ask you, Dan, how can an agency owner streamline something that they feel like every day they wake up and it's constant reaction?
That's a great point. And so many times I see it, and I will answer your question. The first thing is, you can't go into a situation with an apologetic attitude or a negative concept with, I'm walking in, hi, I know you've talked to a bunch of people. I'm Dan with Right at Home. If you'd like to have a cup of coffee and talk about business, we can. That is a waste of your time. Okay. So it always starts with you as the person. Confidence always breeds confidence, which breeds success. Okay. Mm-hmm. So you have to go in there with a no-lose attitude. You got to go in there with, here's my directive and here's my goal. If I have an appointment set up, I want to make sure that the end result of that appointment is predetermined. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's predetermined. I know what I want out of this potential referral source. Yes, you must qualify said referral source. But once that qualification part, and you're going to know in 3 to 5 minutes, if it's somebody you want to work with, if it's going to be part of that top 10 referral list that you want to really spend most of your time with, as opposed to the other 30 that you're sitting there, paddling upstream like a salmon, like Clint says, you really got to isolate who you're going to see and then create a goal-oriented result prior to the meeting. And it's funny we bring it up with marketing because I do this with sales. Okay. The marketing part of it is great. We want to get collaboration. We want to get referral sources. But when it comes down to it, you got to make money. And the reason you got to make money, and I get this said to me in my face in consultations and assessments constantly, is, wow, home care is so expensive. You guys really make a lot of money. You know what I say to him, Clint? I look him dead in the eye. I said, you're absolutely right. And the reason we make a lot of money is so I can hire more passionate caregivers to be able to help more people like you. And they have nothing else to say. And it's going, that's having a goal. That's creating a scenario where it's predetermined. Okay. It's education. Yes. Okay. But most of the time, whether it's in marketing, trying to get a referral source, somebody to send you some quality referrals, yes, you have to be memorable, but you got to ask for the referral or the sale. I can't tell you how many times everybody goes out there, presents perfectly, they show well, they're memorable, they have the best business card and the greatest collateral and the best videos, but they don't ask for the business or the referral source. And gosh, what a waste of time that is. I go in there right away and I said, this is my plan. I want to give you, 5 or 10 potential referrals in the next, month. Let's start a program. Maybe it's a 60-day program and you exclusively use each other and see how that relationship goes. People don't do this, Clint, and it drives me up the wall.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And what you're referring to, talking about understanding the goal of your meeting.
Yeah.
When I'm talking to my master operators and our action leaders, I talk about what's called an end result. What I've called an end result.
Sure.
And that end result is what you're talking about. It's that final unmovable outcome.
Yep.
What is the absolute thing that has to happen from this? And, I talked earlier about reaction, and, everybody who listens to me understands I despise reaction. It's literally the death note to your plan is reaction. So being able to walk into a meeting, understanding what your end result is or what the goal out of this meeting is,
it sets you up for success.
It does, because no matter what happens in that meeting, you can always focus back in on what is my end result. They take it this way. All right, well, what is my end result? And now I can bring that conversation back in.
Yes. And sorry to cut you off.
No, no,
I
no.
mean, you and I will go forever.
Oh, I know.
But, we talk about the procedure and the why, but where a lot of these presentations like we're doing now, people don't really talk about the how. And I'm going to give a nugget of information for all you guys out there. It's observe, observe, observe. Know the room, know whoever you're talking to, and use the active listening approach. Relate to something outside of the realm of what you guys had planned to talk about. Find a personal story, something that you guys can create a valuable and honest connection. Because once you do that, I've made more friends in work, than ever before, because what we end up talking about is something other than our industry. And it just makes that connection for that referral source so much powerful. But you got to observe. It's the same thing when you walk into a client's house, a potential client's house. I will tell you this, we probably talk about care for 15, 20 minutes and talk about life for another hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I win, because I relate to my audience. And that, that's sales 101, but in the sense it's real and it's a win-win and it's connected. It's not false. And they end up choosing a schedule or a care plan that I've laid out for them based on the needs that they told me, not budget, not anything like that. I always start with the foundation of care, and that end result we talked about, that goal fits into my model of care, whether it's a weekly minimum or whatnot. And they actually choose they choose exactly what I want them to choose. And in magicians, that's known as the force, right? So yes, Clint, I use the force.
That is it. That is it. This is the care that you want.
Yeah.
This is the care that you're looking for. So you talked about something a little earlier, and I want to circle back to this.
Yeah.
Because what you're talking about is so good. It's so, so good. But you talked about when you walk into a meeting, you walk into what you're doing, to have an actionable item that you're doing, something that you're bringing to this, something that you're taking away from this. So go into this just a little bit as we kind of walk into the tail end here. Yeah. Because if you're just joining us, we're with Dan McGuire, Director of Sales and Marketing for Right at Home. And how can we really get results by having this actionable item?
Understanding the goal that you want. If I go into a meeting, I always, first you qualify that goal. You probably already qualified them and you set up that meeting. But I need to build my book of referral sources and my book of business. And there's two things that I do, Clint. One, I always have something to offer them. You always have something to offer them. And it's not just your business. It's not just your service. Maybe it's something outside of the scope of what you do. Hey, I'm going to this mixer. I'd like to take you with me. So I just did two things there. The first one was kind of my goal to connect us. But second, guess what I did? Bam, fam, baby. I booked a meeting from a meeting. Again, thank you, Mr. Steve Weiss. But if you do that, you're going to create an efficient schedule of marketing for your calendar. And you're not going to be sitting there going, okay, I think I should go visit this skilled nursing facility. Maybe I should go visit this doctor's office. And you're reacting. We talked about reacting. Mm-hmm. What's great is my calendar is always filled up with things with other referral sources and other people to meet. And I don't have enough time to get them all because they're gravitating towards me now. And I'm going to throw this out there. We're in a pandemic. We are coming out of a pandemic. But the situations of what we do are not going back. That culture has changed, right? Mm-hmm. So we're in a position now where we have to use our technology, we have to use our video, and we're doing it now. And I'll tell you out there, if you are not using your video as a marketing tool, you're losing. You have to, and you have to put it on the platforms. I work with the great Nick Bonatadabas, and he's great, but getting a coach, getting somebody out there who can teach you the efficiencies behind creating some videos and doing some things like this. I'm going to tell you, it's gravitational. And I love that word because people are going to come to you. But those two goals, when I go to a meeting, Clint, like you talked about, I want to make sure I have something to offer them, because that in return is going to get me in their book of business and bring them out of their world into my world. And to me,
in a non-begging way, right?
It's a real way,
right? It's a real way. You're not sitting there like, please give me a referral, right?
Right.
So when I come into Nobility and I started doing our marketing, I went and I scheduled a meeting with all of the directors of the communities in our area. And they would try and, pass off to the marketing person or whatever. And this is something we do we teach our action leaders and my master operators. When you go in, and I would say, well, no, I don't need to talk to the marketer. I'm not interested in marketing. What I need to do is talk to your director, because I'm the owner of the business. And if we refer into somewhere, I need to vet them. So I'm actually interviewing you to refer people in. It totally changes the dynamic.
That perspective, that whole perspective goes, this person is the real deal, and he has something to offer my entire platform. And you're doing so many things when you have that mindset, Clint. I mean, you're connecting, you're blanketing the account, right? So you're meeting multiple people. You are being memorable, because you're going to stick out. You don't have to wear a flashy shirt or a goofy hat, which on holidays and stuff, that's a lot of fun. That's great. That's the fun stuff. But at the end of the day, when you go into a case manager's office and they got a stack of files that are burying them in their little 20 square foot office, they could care less unless you can bring them something that makes them feel like they can count on you for whatever it is. And if you gift that and you bring them out of their world, they're going to remember you every single time.
Oh man, it's so great. And we went so over, but it's fine. It's fantastic information, and it's fine. And I mean, we still have a ton of people on here. So obviously they recognize the value in it. And I can't thank y'all enough for just joining in with us today. And really, I posted earlier on my personal feed talking about you taking us to class and taking us to school. And, but you have done that, man. You've delivered on that. Like,
Thank
you really have shown your expertise in this, and Right at Home is so blessed to have someone like you, not only working for them and building them and growing them, but also educating the ones that come with you and how to do this and building that legacy of success.
Clint, thank you so much. And, for me, I'll leave you with this sense. If you're out there and you're an owner or you're a marketer, you're a case manager, whatever your role is, the key to my success has always been to take ownership of that culture, to take ownership of, for me, it's Right at Home. And even though I don't own the company, I feel like I'm working from a standpoint that I do. And if you put that in your mindset, you're going to treat it like family, and you won't fail, because you're going to really trust that brand, that belief system. And that's going to set the tone for everybody else to gravitate towards you. Independent, franchise, it doesn't matter. They're buying you. And if you have that core belief system, it's all downhill from there, guys.
Oh, it's so good. So just to recap really, really quick, talking about the ways that you can market your agency and really get results. Number one, brand isn't something you opt into. Brand is your belief system, the religion of your agency, your system, right? That's so good.
Yeah.
And then
I thought about that the other night. I said, why is our brand so good? And it's because it's essentially our religion.
It's the core of who you are, right? And then the other, is the two things is create a preferred partner group. I love this. Based on educating your community. I really love that. And then create a unifying event that brings people to you.
Yep.
And then lastly, understand the end result of your meeting and engagement. Really dig into that and know what your ultimate unmovable outcome is. And then latch onto it. Make it part of who you are.
It takes the fear away. It takes the reactiveness away. And now it's all positive. It's success. It's control. It's the force, right? That makes it obtainable.
You're about to get an amen out of this Pentecostal preacher's son. All right. Dan, thank you so much for being on today. It has been tremendous. I know everyone has enjoyed it. We've had so much engagement. We appreciate it. And thank you for your expertise. So remember, everybody, get out there, build into your business, sow into your culture, and invest in you as an owner. Really, really invest in yourself as an owner. And most of all, keep taking action.